Recording in progress. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this pre-recorded Woman Crush Wednesday. I am very likely on the road right now if you're watching this and not able to stream live. So I'm doing a few pre-records and so happy to have TicTac Kryptoe up in the house. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, I feel very honored to be here. And thanks for having me. It's really awesome what you're doing. Celebrating women.
Yes.
All for it.
Thanks. Yeah, I just had your counterpart Claz on the stream last week. I think if I'm pre-recording and playing these in the way that I think it's gonna go, I think it'll be it's Claz, right? Am I saying that right? Yeah.
Yeah, Claz. Yeah. It's very Aussie. Claz.
Okay, good. Yeah, she had told me her name as well, so I used that mostly on the stream, but I'm always making sure that I'm saying the right thing, so it's important. Yay. Well, welcome once again. Welcome to everybody who's watching, and welcome to everyone on the replay when this gets replayed. I'm so grateful that y'all are tuning into this and joining us for a little bit of discussion and mostly an uplifting, right? Like we're here to uplift each other, uplift women in crypto in general. Mostly so far, I've had mostly Hexicans on the stream. I am trying to get, and again, by the time this plays, this might have already happened, but there's a woman named Lydia, I forget her last name, but she's bigger in the crypto space in general. And I just saw her post something about Hex, and I was like, well, she's not a Hexican, but I'm looking for women in general just to come on as well that maybe aren't in the Hex community and, are doing other things and might be interested in Hex or the Richard Hart ecosystem. So again, I do like to put that call out. If anybody is interested or a woman in the community who's just starting out or, really like could use some more viewers, please hit me up and let me know and help me get connected to them because I enjoy that. So without further ado, my first question here is question number 1. How did you find Richard Hart, Hex, or crypto? Like if you got into crypto and then Hex, or if Hex was your way into crypto, tell us a little bit about your origin story in this here cryptoverse.
Well, so Hex is technically so it's the second crypto I purchased because I had to buy Ethereum first.
Right.
But about almost this time last year, I was trying to find a way to basically, I want to say take my power back, but I don't want that to be, misconstrued. I live in a remote area on a farm and I support my partner and raise my children, and we're a ways away from anything. So I heard that maybe crypto trading could just be that solution to my problem where I could, use my math brain and get into, crypto. So I did a training course. It took me about probably, I want to say 6 months, maybe 5 months.
Wow.
Anyway, it took me a while because I'm a little bit OCD and I like to deep dive. And so anything she brought up in this, it was a woman that had done the course, and anything she brought up, I would dig into that and try and, analyze what she was saying. So I was on the right path. Anyway, then we had harvest because obviously we're farmers. And so I, took I think it was about 6 weeks after my course and started acquiring some capital to put into my trading strategy. And the night before, and this is no word of a lie, the night before I was going to implement my strategy, like I had taken, obviously that 7 months almost at that point to kind of develop my plan. And it was just, I'm not risk adverse, but she was like, you can only do 10% of your whole bag per trade, et cetera, et cetera. So I had the plan in place. And I found, for some reason, the YouTube gods sent me a whales only stream.
Oh,
and then
yes.
I know. It was like my mind it was awesome. And then, so that night I found whales only. Then I found a Modelly investor one. And then all of a sudden I was like, who is this Richard Hart? And I think it was like 10 or 11 hours that I watched Richard Hart back to back.
Wow.
And then I went to sleep like a good Japanese person and, really took it all in before committing. Like I didn't go and just buy Hex that night. And I woke up in the morning and I really had a good hard think about it. And I don't know whether it was because I've got 2 toddlers or what it was, but I went all in, my entire bag, risk strategy taken out of the, like, blown out of the window, and the whole lot went into Hex. And that afternoon, I actually made my first stake, which was a 555.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's so cool because I hear of so many people, and I don't know whether it's that they've got kind of like a PTSD or something from crypto, which holds them back and kind of stops them from, making that commitment to 555 straight up. But for me, it was like a really easy decision. I was like, I've got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they're going to turn 17 and 18 when this stake matures. So it was perfect. Here I am giving them a gift in the future. And I was like, easy. Yep. And anyway, and that's kind of how I got in. I feel really blessed because Hex was the first, crypto I really bought. I mean, can't count Ethereum. And I feel really honored that Hex saved me and Richard saved me from myself, because I have no doubt in my mind that regardless of my strategy and the skills that she taught me on the course, and, I know that I would have potentially lost everything, especially with this bear market that's obviously in effect now. Yeah. So I kind of feel like I was saved.
That's awesome.
I feel really grateful for that.
So I wanted to just a clarification question. So the course that you took, was it just like a basic understanding of crypto type course? Like she wasn't going to tell you how to invest or what to invest in, maybe?
Oh, she didn't.
Or did she bring up
the act? Yeah, she didn't give actual tokens.
Okay.
So it was more a swing trading,
Gotcha.
And kind of the procedures, like always keeping a journal, which some of them, like her, the risk management is great, and keeping a journal, which I think anybody actually buying Hex should, it's a great, especially if you're DCAing, keeping a log and journal, diarizing every trade that you make so that you can actually, get an average and ensure that you're, what your DCA average price is, so that you know what you're kind of starting from as such. So, I think it's a really good thing. Yeah, there was heaps of great things that she said, but obviously I now see the value in not trading.
Right.
And
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. It's interesting to me. That's similar in a way to my journey. I had coins from years prior to 2021, but I didn't do anything with them. And then in 2021, I decided that I was going to sell my house, totally unrelated to the crypto market. It was just something I wanted to do. I wanted to pay off my student loans. I was tired of having all this debt. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to sell the house and do what I can with it, and, try to better my life and my situation through all this. So I ended up taking it at that time because I knew I was going to have, some money left over. I was like, okay, well, I want to be smart about this. I want to set myself up for the future. So I ended up taking an options trading course. I wasn't thinking about crypto much at all, but, very similarly took a course. It took months to do. And by the time I was almost done with it, I was like 80% done with the course. My friend Crypto Kool-Aid, who you guys just had on the show, he told me about Hex. Yeah. And he's the one that was like, you need to take all those coins, because he had told me he was the one years ago who was like, oh, try buying all these little coins, which I did back then. But then it was hands off for me. Like I bought the coins and then they sat there for years and I didn't do anything. So he was like, hey, remember all those little coins I told you to put your money in? Let's take all that money and put it into Hex. So that's what I did. I took everything that I'd had in crypto already, and then some with with what I had. And I ended up DCAing more and more because I was just like, oh, well, this makes sense. And then it kept making more, especially listening to Wales. I mean, he just makes so much sense that it's just like, yes, please take it all. Like, what else can I sell to buy and stake Hex with? So yeah, it's interesting to me. I like that, it seems so many people's journeys into Hex were very synchronistic. And a lot of just like really kind of magical things.
100%. Do the other day, like, I don't know, I would say that I love numbers, and like when I see numbers, you know, like 11 and 11, 11, 11, you know, you get it twice a day on your phone, you know, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing yet, but I see it and I'm like, oh, and I, you know, start thinking I'm going to have a good day now. Anyway, the other day, driving into the farm, and this is no word of a lie, I had never noticed what the farm number was, right? Like the lot number of the farm. I mean, I drive in there multiple times a day, even when we go out, you know, either way from town, you can see this little lot number. And it was 369.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Do you know what's crazy? I started doing the training course, obviously after we moved to this farm. So we've been on this farm now for about a year, but I don't know, in my mind, it's kind of like, I don't know, everything led to this moment in a way, because if I hadn't have come from, like, our other farm's 5 hours away, and my other half, he's been there for about 10 weeks now, seeding for next harvest. But yeah, ultimately, all roads led to Hex in my mind. Yeah. And I just feel really blessed that I was saved, because I know that I would have got full wrecked. Like,
yep.
Like I feel that. I feel that I would have got wrecked 100%, especially with everything I probably would have invested in Luna. Like, right.
Yeah.
Like you know, anyway, sorry, keep going. I digress.
No, that's fine. No, I totally resonate with that. I have a quick random side question, because I love farming and permaculture or growing organic food and things like that. So what are you seeding? What do you farm?
Oh, so we have, it's predominantly wheat, but so it's a number of acres that we put in, like a lot, like thousands of acres.
Yeah.
So generally we have probably 20%, 30% of merino sheep. And then we canola this year, barley, oats, only a little bit of oats, wheat, and actually we've put in a few paddocks of clover this year.
Oh, cool.
But yeah,
nice.
Yeah, just for the pastures, obviously.
Yeah, just curious. Have you heard of the Hex Foodies group?
I have, because so my passion and my kind of goals with Kryptoe is, well, our goals for farming, like his family have farmed the land since 1912. They were kind of like the first settlers, if you like. They cleared the land in the wheat belt, which is the area that our other farm is. And it's degraded. It's the erosion, the salinity. I mean, we literally, our farm is up there is literally surrounded by salt lakes, and it's hard to look at. So our goal is to go regenerative, because I have this very strong belief, probably because I don't need the paradigm shift like industrial farmers. For them to understand regenerative agriculture, they actually need a complete paradigm shift to remove the chemicals and let Mother Nature take over. And, you know, the biological stimulants with, you know, like the permaculture kind of processes. Anyway, so my plan with Kryptoe is to use that money to actually turn our entire farm regenerative, and then hopefully actually continue to acquire more land, and then, you know, repair and rejuvenate that land as well. So that's my end game.
Awesome.
And actually, I don't know what you think about this, but I actually think the blockchain technology, like, I mean, have you heard about biodiversity credits?
No, not yet.
So there seems to be this real push at the moment where, which I think is brilliant, where people are starting to, especially in Australia, I don't know about, and Europe, I'm not sure about America, but where people actually care about what they're putting into their stomach, right?
Yeah.
And there's, you know, organic's great, but unfortunately the issue with organic is it's still monoculture, like it's still, you know, so with regenerative farming and permaculture, one of the primary principles, I'm not sure about permaculture, but 100% with regenerative farming, it's all about biodiversity. And so there's a big talk in the regenerative community about finding a way to pay farmers for going regenerative, like, you know, for turning their farms regenerative, because, you know, it makes the food more nutritious, you know, just, you know, drawing more carbon down into the soil, but you know, there's all these benefits of it, right? But the issue is, how do you grow the wheat and then track that wheat all the way to the consumer, you know, and kind of carry those biodiversity credits from that parcel of wheat all the way to the bag of flour. So I think that's where the blockchain could potentially come in, is tracking the food that we, you know, from literally from farm to plate through the blockchain. And I don't know how, but I don't know whether I'm going to learn coding or find people to help me or what. But yeah, I'm becoming more and more passionate by the day, because I think there's a lot of great minds out there that are really struggling to find ways to, you know, to make it work. And I think the blockchain could solve it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it's interesting. I heard similar things. Probably not the same application that you're talking about, but a few years ago, I lived in Puerto Rico, and after the hurricanes, there was a lot of talk about people doing things with the blockchain to create a more sustainable food system on the island. So yeah, I 100% believe that that's the future, right? Like, I think that the blockchain has seen a lot of different, you know, promise coins and projects and things that, you know, may or may not be able to apply to our real life. But as we are gaining this knowledge and working together, and, you know, more people are coming into the system, and I strongly believe that there are going to be, you know, really awesome applications, just like what you're talking about with tracking the food.
It's funny, because it was actually Crypto Kool-Aid, your mate, that got me thinking about it, because of the way that he explained the NFT like a babushka.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, you know, I'm sure, I was like, I bet there's some kind of NFT application that would work for that.
Like, wouldn't it be amazing if you could like literally create this babushka of, you know, NFTs that flow all the way from farm to plate? I mean, anyway, we're going to find a way.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, keep going.
No, it's all good. That's brilliant. So the second question is just a simple kind of, let's say someone just stumbled across this stream. They don't know anything about crypto or what's going on, but they're like, oh, there's two ladies talking about things. But we're here to, you know, talk about Hex mostly and our journey through that. But what would you say to someone who is just now looking into crypto in general or into Hex, and they're just like, I don't know about this. Like, should I invest in crypto or not? Like, you know, maybe what was some aha moment that you had, or what would you say to someone who's looking into it?
Well, there's a few things. So the first thing, especially if you're just getting in, if you want to dip your toe, my dip the toe would be, don't put in more than you're willing to lose.
Yep.
I mean, obviously I would say buy Hex, but I believe the foundations of any good project come from the utility of the project, as well as the community and their belief in the project, as well as having a transparent founder, like somebody that is, you know, known and not just a pseudonym behind a mask, you know. So, I mean, in my mind, Hex ticks the box in all the ways. I've invested, like I'm 41, and I started working when I was 18, 19 years old, and putting myself through school, and every single investment, everyone's like, oh yeah, invest in real estate, because, you know, that's going to be a really good thing. So I bought all the houses and I thought I was doing the right thing. And, you know, and then the housing market in Australia anyway, during the time, you know, from 2002 to now, didn't do the 8-year doubling that it's done, you know, previously. It used to double every 8 years on average. It hasn't done that, right? It's gone up, but not significantly. And so basically, crypto is potentially the greatest investment that we will ever see in our lifetime. There is volatility, but, you know, so with great reward comes great risk. don't put in more than you're willing to lose, but understand that if you find the right token, and I do truly believe that Hex is that right token, but if you find the right token and, put a little bit on it, because the other thing that always comes to me is, imagine if you were in 2009, the all-time low of Bitcoin, and you had the opportunity to put $1 or just buy $1 worth of Bitcoin, you would have had about 1,633 Bitcoin for that $1 at the all-time low. And last year, at the all-time high, if you would have sold that $1 worth of Bitcoin, the result would have been $112,453,770, right? But the problem with Bitcoin is, every time somebody, and potentially the problem with crypto in general, is people see a 2x, a 3x, a 10x, a 20x, a 100x, and they pull it out. How many people would have gone from 2009 to now and actually held that $1 worth of Bitcoin? Hex, right, gives you that, it gives you a safety net. The people call it the truth engine, but basically it gives you an opportunity to go and park some coins out into the future. Buy something now, invest in your future. We call it a certificate of deposit. In Australia, we call it what do they call it? A high yield investment, or a long-term deposit. A long-term deposit. So it's basically just doing what you would do, but being your own bank and putting money in the future. But Hex will protect you from yourself.
Yep,
if you don't EES your stake, you've got the potential to make those Bitcoin gains. How cool.
Yep. Perfect.
Anyway.
Love it. And of course, this is not financial advice.
No.
We just like to talk about these things.
Yes. Entertainment only.
Yeah. So speaking of entertainment, tell me about your content. Tell me about your channel. How did you guys get started? Where did the idea come from, and where do you see it going?
Well, it's all Claz. So I was in a space talking to Hex is the Way a couple of months ago, and there was a few people that were like, I think it was actually Bullish Ox. He was like, we need to support more women in the community, and he'd said it over a couple of spaces. And anyway, I'd seen Claz in and out of the spaces, and then one day she's just, randomly said, how would you like to start streaming? And I was like, and I thought about all the times people are like, we need to support women in crypto. And like, to me, this is like my greatest fear realized. Like, I literally had nightmares after my first stream, thinking I was going to wake up the next morning and there was going to be like DMs saying, what the hell are you doing?
Oh, no.
Yeah. And it, I don't know. It didn't eventuate like that, but ultimately it was all Claz. She's the one, she's the engine or the machine behind the beast, if you like, and she's pushing it, and I'm just there trying to help her out any way I can at the moment. I do have some ideas in the background. Like Claz is very, like, she loves the very technical side of things, and I love her for that because she really gets my brain going. And she's very like a critical analytical thinker, and I love her for that. Personally, I would love to help mums. That would be my goal, is to try and help mums find some, get their little, whatever they can afford, and put it away for their kids or for themselves, and try and help them, get the basics right so that they can, ultimately get the best return on potentially one of the best investments that they'll ever make in their life and for their children. So that's my goal, is to kind of help women or help anyone, but with the basic stuff, like the simple things. Because I heard, I can't remember whether it was your Fashion Coder stream or one of your other streams, and you were talking about the ABCs of crypto. It's such a great idea, because there is so many terms, and it takes, even like when you have come from a legacy world, it's almost like it's a complete paradigm shift, but also the vocabulary, like trying to understand some of this stuff. It's really complicated for people that have never been in any type of for anybody. It's complicated for anybody unless they've been doing crypto for years. So yeah, I just want to try and make it simple.
Yep.
If I can, you know.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been tough actually, that series that you talk about. I did A and B, and then I was going to do C for crypto, and I just kind of stopped because in part because I started doing other streams, but also in part because I feel like I still need to increase my own knowledge in order to be able to explain it well enough, you know, and having started creating more content, I haven't been taking in as much, but I think that what I want to try and do over the next like couple months is balance that out, right? And make sure that if I am consuming content, that it's something that's going to help me create content, right? Like listening to, like, I feel like because Whale's only one, like, again, he's high level, but makes it understandable in a way that if you understand legacy finance, right, like you can better understand Hex. But like maybe someone more like Crypto Coffee, I'm trying to think of who else is very good at like the really breaking it down, and it's Fashion Coder too. Like she's really spectacular at that. So maybe that's what I want to kind of shift towards, is like maybe looking through older videos of people who are really eloquent, like well-spoken in the community, and find out, you know, what is their take on what is crypto, and, you know, learn a little bit more before I jump in and try to give my take on it. But that is something that I love doing. I did have jobs in the past where I would take high level concepts and break them down, but I'm still wrapping my brain around it, you know, even after it's been a year now for me. I've been on this Hex journey, and even still, it's just like, what, there's another new term will come up and I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that one yet. Like, what does this mean? So, yeah.
And I think, it's pretty wild, but also everybody's got their own viewpoint. And I think that's why it's so important, for anybody that's wanting to start trying to add value, whether it's through streaming or podcasts or just going into the spaces and hosting spaces. There might be a nugget one little sentence that you say one day that helps someone identify with you, and it helps them shift their reality to understand crypto or Hex a little bit better. You know, maybe there's something I say that might help a mum, you know, that's got young toddlers, and they're like, oh shit, I can put something in, you know, 15 years in the future for my kids. Or maybe there's, you know, or maybe there's like a young millennial who, you know, Fashion Coder can, you know, inspire, or, you know. So I think if everybody comes with their truth, and it doesn't matter even if the content actually overlaps, because we're all going to say it in a different way. And there is beauty in diversity, but also when the message is coming from a place of, you know, love and wanting to share it, it'll always be received well, I think.
Absolutely. You know? So well said. I like that. And that's part of why I started doing this. I just did the sci-vibe stuff, and then I heard over and over again in the community, you know, stream, do something to, you know, something else to promote and, you know, be a part of this community. So we're saying it again. If you're out there, you're listening to this, you're seeing this, you know, definitely come on aboard. You know, if you want to come on my stream, like I welcome you, you know, and that's kind of part of how I wanted to do this, is like anyone who's nervous about streaming, or, you know, you just never done it before, like, let's figure some stuff out together, you know. In fact, Fashion Coder is so sweet. There was a part or a moment where before I even interviewed her, she was doing something on her streams that was so cool looking. And so she took the time for, you know, it was like 15, 20 minutes, and we just sat down together and she showed me how to do the thing. So, you know, don't be afraid to reach out. You know, many of us still have the capacity to check our DMs and see what's going on. Well, I'm going to ask the next question here.
Yeah, go for it.
Tell us, if you can think of somebody or something, share a quote, a mantra, a saying, or a song, something that uplifts you, something that if you're in a weird headspace or you're not feeling so great that day, what is something that you do or that you would listen to or that you remember to kind of pick you up and get you to keep going?
Okay, so there's two. So my dad, he's a sculptor, and a few years ago, a couple of decades ago now. He did a topographic satellite image of the Earth, and he did it on a brass buckle or like plate for the Mapping Institute of Australia. And he put on the back of this piece, "Time heals what reason cannot." And I just love it, because sometimes you find yourself in positions in life where things don't make sense. And, you know, like, anyway, we all have our struggles. And yeah, ultimately, like I had a husband die in 2013 in a pretty horrific car accident where all three people passed away. And at the time, it was obviously unbearable, you know, but time healed that, you know. So, and yeah, ultimately, also the other thing is whatever doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So those two things together, you know, like this whole bear market that we're going through right now, it's going to be a blip, you know, it will be a blip on the radar in a minute. And, you know, everybody at the moment is looking into and trying to read into, you know, everything that's happening. And I understand that, you know, there's a lot of fear and uncertainty, and that breeds, you know, well, people getting scared and worrying about the future, and guilt as well, because maybe that they've put a little bit too much in, and they've got families to feed. But just remembering that this too shall pass, and and time heals what reason cannot. So ultimately, don't try and understand it, you know, just, you know, try and get yourself to a position mentally and physically where you are prepared, you know. Like, what do they say? Be greedy in bear market, or be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy.
Yes.
You know. Yep. So this is my first bear market, and I'm trying to you know, take stock of that. And I'm buying all the dips, you know. I'm being a bit of a degen, as Hex is the way I would say. I'm buying all the way down, and if it goes down again, I'll be buying all the way down again. Yeah.
Awesome.
There's a lot
Thank
there
you.
to unpack, but sorry.
No, that's great. Those are really powerful. That's, to me, some of the most powerful statements, right? Or just really short, but really profound, you know, ways to get you to think outside of the box. All right. So my next question is, what is something that you love to do outside of the crypto space? What just kind of like makes your heart sing and like really brings meaning and joy to your heart?
Well, that's easy, because at the moment it's winter here, and I'm actually, where we're living at the moment, well, where me and the kids are, is we're surrounded by, well, farm, but also bushland. So my favorite thing about Australia is the smell of the bush after it's rained. And there's nothing better. And so what we've been doing lately is getting the gumboots on, chucking on a raincoat, and just trudging through the mud in the paddocks up to the bush and exploring. You know, like, honestly, every time I need a minute to just, like, we go sit on a rock, or, you know, talk about the slugs and the frogs and the tadpoles. And yeah, so just at the moment, that's the thing that's bringing me the most joy, is getting my kids out of the house rather than keeping them inside when the weather's bad, and actually just getting them out there. And yeah, exploring the bush and smelling the, you know, the earth. And we take our shoes off and we plant our feet in the mud and get all squishy, you know, hug a tree, like it, you know. And
that's,
you know,
all important.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kids, I think, you know, I mean, screens have a place in life, I believe, in my view, because sometimes when you're busy, you need a moment. But, you know, getting kids out in nature and exploring the world around them, you know, teaching them about the plants and the insects and the, you know, like snakes. Thankfully, the snakes have gone to sleep at the moment here. But yeah, that's what's bringing me the most joy at the moment, is exploring with my kids.
I love that so much. and smelling the bush. I love it. That is, yeah, especially just the smell of almost everything after it rains. Cities don't smell that great after it rains, but,
Oh,
but yeah,
man.
nature.
Oh man, I moved to New York when I was 20, and I was studying over there, and there was I've never, like, I come from a really small little town, and I went straight to New York. It was the first place I visited by myself.
Wow.
And the smell after it rained was just some next level. And the subway smell. Oh my God. Yeah. You guys can have that. I'd much rather the bush.
I hear that for sure. Awesome. Yeah. I just wanted to also, I know this is not my Wellness Wednesday or anything, but grounding, what you're saying about taking your shoes off and putting your feet in the mud and the dirt. I highly recommend that to everybody. If you don't do that on a regular basis, or you've never done it, some people have had their feet in socks and shoes all their life. Take your socks and shoes off and go outside and put your toes in the dirt. It's magic. It really is. You can feel, if you pay close enough attention and you're, being really present, you can kind of feel the magnetism of the earth, almost like going up through your feet.
And it's transformational. It's almost like, some people say that, you fake it till you make it. So you smile if you're unhappy, I find that if I want to shift my mood in an instant, I just get my shoes off and I'll walk out into the paddock, or I'll go and stand out, I don't know, walk up to the chook pen, like whatever, and just be and present in a moment, just 10 seconds. It doesn't take long, but just try and feel. I actually visualize a light coming up from the ground and then coming into me. Anyway, and just because the ground's got energy as well, and we are all but energy, so extract as much of that goodness.
Soak it up with your toes.
Soak it up.
Awesome. So my last couple questions, where can we find you? Go ahead and give us what your Twitter handle is, what the YouTube channel is. Have you been able to create your own like custom URL for the YouTube yet?
I don't know whether Claz has done it. At the moment, it's just Claz and TicTac.
Okay.
I think, or Claz and TicTac Kryptoe, but I will, I'm pretty sure it's Claz and TicTac Kryptoe.
Okay. And I'll make sure this is in the description too, in case anybody.
Yeah, cool. And then I'm just on Twitter at the moment, and it's just, TicTac Kryptoe.
Awesome.
TicTac Kryptoe. Beautiful. And that's crypto with a K. It was actually, I was trying to be funny because like tic-tac-toe is a zero-sum game, and obviously phonetically crypto is spelled the way I spell it. So yeah, that was
nice.
My joke, but nobody gets it, and everybody thinks I'm saying TikTok, but anyway, it's all good.
I think TikTok's cute. I like it. Sweet. And then my last bonus question. Well, I have a prequel question. Have you read Sci-Vive or Fix the World yet?
I flicked through it because when I say flick through it, like I like to speed read, but I need to do a bit of it. Like I did do a little bit of highlighting. There seems to be quite a lot of NLP, which I find really interesting. I did my practitioner and then my master's in NLP. So whenever somebody starts talking NLP, I'm like, oh God, I need to listen to all of this. I've actually been listening to you when I go to sleep. So if I'm not falling asleep in the spaces, I've been listening to Sci-Vive.
Nice.
There's just so much information. Okay.
There is. So the bonus question is, and you can pick either one because since you have read a little bit of it. So what do you love the most about Richard Hart or Sci-Vive? Or if you want to talk a little bit about both. This is my love letters to Richard Hart section of the stream.
So I would say Richard Hart because don't get me wrong, the more that I look into Sci-Vive, I can see that, he is showcasing his genius in a different way. But I love his tenacity and, I can't even imagine how much crap he gets on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But that man takes it in his stride. He shows up. Like, he could have rug pulled. And when I say rug pulled, he could have bailed, right?
Yep.
But long ago.
Right.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
You know, he's so authentic. And, you know, maybe some of it is marketing gimmicks because, you know, like I've heard in person, he's very like humble and compassionate. And not that I'm saying I'm not saying he comes across uncompassionate, but he's obviously putting on a bit of a facade. But ultimately, you can feel the honesty exuding out of him through the screen, you know. So although there might be a bit of a layer of facade with this alpha, you know, nurse, I'm excited to maybe meet him one day and see the kind of real compassionate human inside, because you can tell with his authenticity and everything that he preaches, I guess, like, you know, the words beneath the facade is honor and commitment. And he sounds like the type of guy that any human would want to believe in. So he made me believe in him instantly. Like that first stream, I mean, I could see that I was polarizing, obviously. But yeah, he just reeled me in, you know, with his passion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how he handles himself with all this noise and all this nonsense. Yeah. I think it's pretty great. And he's making a joke about it, and people can say what they like about him, but ultimately, until you've walked in somebody else's shoes, you know, we should never judge others by the way they act when they're having to deal with situations that are one outside their control in a way, and also that we've never experienced.
Yeah, totally agree. 100%. Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for doing what you do. Definitely everyone watching this, please, if you have not already, clicked on their link and subscribe. That's what we do here. We get more subs, more eyes on women and what they're doing in this universe here. So
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope you have a great day and keep doing the good stuff that you're putting out there. You're amazing.
Thanks so much. I plan on it for sure. Well, thanks again, everybody. Take care. Have a good rest of your day.